Hello, welcome to News Mongolia on MNB World. I'm your host, Jugdir Gambold. And for our top stories for today. World Journalists Conference 2023 held in South Korea. Mongolian Culture Night organized in Stockholm, Sweden. Protecting your children online, essential tips for teaching cybersecurity. For other news, stay with us. The 2023 World Journalists Conference was held in Seoul, Gyeonggi-do, Busan, and Suwon in South Korea from April 24th through 29th. About 70 media organization representatives from more than 50 countries participated in the conference.
This year's conference marked the first major international gathering of journalists after 4 years of the COVID-19 pandemic. Journalists from all over the world converged in South Korea for the conference.
The first panel discussion focused on the role of mass media in regional development, and the second panel discussed media's involvement in digital transformation and how media will evolve. One of the important topics was the perspective of international journalists on world peace and security. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many meetings have been held online in recent years. After a long hiatus, we have face-to-face meetings today in Korea. We've gathered with the journalists from all over the world to discuss the problems faced by their countries and media organizations, learn about many interesting advanced technologies, and exchange information.
Look at from the viewpoint of
The Mongolian Embassy in the Kingdom of Sweden, Mongolians residing in Sweden, professional associations and cultural centers organized the Mongolian Culture Night 2023 in Stockholm. With details from our MNB reporter, Alder Hishig.
This event is being organized for the second year by the Embassy of Mongolia in Sweden and non-governmental organizations with the support of Stockholm City Hall. I want to express my sincere gratitude to all the co-organizers and supporters of this event.
As part of Stockholm Culture Night organized annually by Stockholm City Hall, Mongolian Culture Night was successfully organized for the second year to share Mongolian history, tangible and intangible cultural heritage, and traditions with people in Sweden. For this year's exhibition, all the pieces displayed have QR codes that allow visitors to receive additional information in Mongolian and English. Mongolian Culture Night 2023 was organized with support from the Museum of Far Eastern Antiquities in Stockholm. During the event, a collection of Mongolian heritage and cultural marvels registered as UNESCO's tangible and intangible cultural heritage were presented to attendees, including a fully furnished Mongolian gear, traditional folk dances, songs, ankle bone shooting, throat singing, and blessings.
In today's world, where the internet has become an integral part of our daily lives, cybersecurity is a critical issue that everyone needs to be aware of. Children are especially vulnerable to cyber attacks, as they're often less knowledgeable about online risks and tend to be more trusting of strangers. Experts remind us that it is essential to educate children about cybersecurity to keep them safe online.
It's important to teach children about the risks associated with sharing personal information online. Children should be taught to keep personal information like their full name, address, phone number, and email address private, as this information can be used to steal their identity or locate them in the real world.
Like cyberbullying is like a big thing, right? Children, especially a lot of young girls, cyberbullied into a lot of sending inappropriate pictures, doing a lot of inappropriate things. So please be aware that children are learning from you. If a father or mother just comes home and using on their mobile phone all evening, every day, your children will understand that this is the normal and they will just copy you. Instead, make some time for your children, talk to them, understand them, and they will open up to you and talk about this cyberbullying thing.
Children should also be made aware of dangers of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying can take many forms, including harassment, hateful comments, and spreading rumors. Children should be encouraged to speak up if they are or someone they know is being bullied online and seek help from adults. It's also crucial to teach children the importance of using strong and unique passwords. Children should understand that using the same password for multiple accounts makes it easy for hackers to gain access to their personal information. Encourage children to use a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters and numbers and symbols to create strong passwords that are difficult to guess. Parents and caregivers should also make use of parental controls and other tools to monitor their children's online activity. Many devices and websites have parental control features that can help limit access to inappropriate content and keep children safe. Cybersecurity is an important issue that children need to be educated about to stay safe online. By teaching children about the risks associated with sharing personal information, cyberbullying, password security, and the use of parental controls, parents and caregivers can help protect their children and give them the tools they need to navigate the online world safely.
Please take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by the Central Bank of Mongolia. Now here comes world news partnered with international news agencies. 2023 marks the 30th anniversary of the United Nations World Press Freedom Day, with this year's theme being Shaping a Future of Rights. Freedom of expression as a driver for all other human rights.
Celebrated every 3rd of May, it marks 30th years since the UN General Assembly's decision in proclaiming an International Day for Press Freedom.
When the World Press Freedom Day was first celebrated, we had only 12 countries in this planet with freedom of information laws. Today, there are 135. So this huge structural transformation on transparency and access to information is not minor, and it was something really pushed by these efforts of the multilateral system in terms of enhancing press freedom.
The day was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly in 1993 following a recommendation made by UNESCO's General Conference. The purpose of World Press Freedom Day is to remind people of the fundamental principles of press freedom, which include the right to freedom of expression, the right to access to information, and the right to seek and receive information from diverse sources. The day is also an opportunity to celebrate the essential role that a free and independent press plays in promoting democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. It is a time to acknowledge the important work of journalists and media workers around the world who work tirelessly to inform the public, hold those in power accountable, and give a voice to the voiceless.
85% of the world population have experienced a downsize in their freedom of expression in the last 5 years. So unfortunately, there is a tendency of going backwards on that. Last year, the data regarding the killings of journalists, according to the condemnations of the UNESCO Director General, have increased 50% compared to the previous years. So it's also an increase in the number of killings. There are particular problems, for instance, regarding the online harassment against women journalists. Our data shows that 73% of the women journalists we have interviewed for this particular research communicated they suffered online harassment in a way or another, of which 20% communicated that this online harassment had a consequence outside of the virtual world.
According to the United Nations, at least 67 media workers were killed in 2022. a 50% increase from the previous year. Nearly 3/4 of women journalists have experienced violence online, and 1 in 4 have been threatened physically.
The historic market town of Windsor is gearing up for a special coronation celebration. Local business in the important royal town are decorating and planning in anticipation of the big weekend. King Charles III's coronation takes place in London on May 6.
Windsor Castle, a favorite residence of the British royal family, is at the heart of the historic town of the same name. Residents are preparing for the coronation of King Charles III on 6th of May. Although most of the coronation events will be taking place in London, the royal connections of Windsor mean shops and businesses in town are planning to celebrate in style. Already the bunting is hanging across every commercial street, and the shops are all displaying coronation displays in their windows. The historic Castle Hotel, a stone's throw from the castle itself, has enjoyed a 500-year history. During that time, it has seen many monarchs crowned and has even entertained royalty in its restaurants and bars over the years. To mark the coronation, the hotel has created a special coronation afternoon tea with a specially created crown cake stand.
And we've got a dish there saying the king coronation, which is happening soon.
Please take a look at the weather forecast for the world's major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying tuned. We'll see you next time with more news and updates. Have a nice day.